unravel that, I believe. I believe that's part of our mission. I think it's part of our mission to unravel that. To study the effects of hypocrisy over decades. To study open, visible nifaq, hypocrisy. Continuous nifaq. A detailed study on evolution resistance, the resistance to evolving. And what does that mean? That means that our people have developed an immunity to evolution. The white man can bring them in on level number 2, and they can stay on level 2 for 50 years and not budge. Because the white man have not told them to. Yeah. You can drench them with ayats of Quran, tafsir, hadith, even old-fashioned love, and it won't budge. I believe that it's our mission to study that in detail. Technically, we don't have to study it. Now, we take the word for Quran, history, and all that. We act on reality all the time. We don't act on, that's why 40-some years ago, when we first being hit with the government, we followed what we knew in our heart was right, and we turned out to be right all the time. Because we're studying the Negro and everybody else, but our goal, our main work is to study the Negro in detail. I believe we have to crack that nut. Everybody has something they have to crack in their time. That, I believe, is ours. I believe that's where all patience, that's why everybody was telling us, oh, you gotta do this to them niggas, you gotta do that. No, we don't have to do nothing to them. We don't have to do nothing to them. We're not going to do nothing to them. First of all, we're gonna lead them where we want to lead them, which we did. But they have to explain their behavior. They don't get a chance. Abdul-Malik don't get a chance to walk away. He has to explain all of our education, all of our media for the next, not decade, but almost. It's going to revisit that. The whole Brotherhood in Oakland. Wait a minute. Mukhtar said this, that, another. And y'all know it's a damn lie. It's ridiculous. Y'all know Imam Musa came to Oakland and put money in y'all's pocket all the time, and you never took nothing back, never. Yet Mukhtar says Imam Musa stole some money from the community, and y'all ain't said nothing about it. Oakland, they're gonna have to explain why the hell you do that. They can't just sit back, or y'all took bail and got a whole brotherhood. Where did y'all come from? How many of y'all was in the army and come from Germany? Straight from Germany to our Masjid in Oakland. How many? How many? It's so dirty, it's so rotten what they was doing. What they was doing, what they did. You know, the first student in our school was Nidal. Nidal, mother, had a white mother and a black father. They was part of the Dar. When she was 14, she was in our school, the first student. She looked like a little white girl. And but she was real about Islam. Very good. So to make sure none of our people get away, do y'all remember, not what's the real light-skinned guy, UC Berkeley? His mother's from Canada. Abdul-Karim. Yeah, Abdul-Karim. Think of the guys at home. He marries her, they go to Yemen. After they have 3 or 4 kids, he divorces her and marries another woman. Why he do that? To break Nadal's back, or Islamic back, for no reason. They got niggas all over the country do that. Marrying each other, doing that deadly. Their goal is to make sure nobody rises up out of Oakland. So out of that old school back there, nobody materializes. Right? What was their goal? East Oakland is a shining star. We got property, we got schools, the movement, everything is popping up in East Oakland. They shut East Oakland down and they built up North Oakland. The Yemenis, the Arabs over there. They gave away bookstores, gave away restaurants. You can tell when Saudi money pop. Restaurant, Mediterranean, halal store right here. The people that's involved, they don't actually know. All they know is, I had a dream of opening a store, and somebody says, here's the money to do that. So now if you look at Oakland, you'll see East Oakland is dead, crushed, so they think. And North Oakland is vibrant. Maybe they should have did something else. Maybe they should have picked somebody else to mess with, because they sure made a dumb behind mistake. They made a serious mistake. They manifested all of their behavior in front of the public. And what's our duty? Now, Allah knows if you have any savagery or any payback or any revenge. So Allah tests you to find out, and for you to find out, not for Allah. Do not mistake that when Allah do something so that Allah will know. Allah don't have to do nothing to find out, not have an experiment to find out. That's written for you and I. So the bottom line, our research, our study, our trends, our anticipation is all a great part of the great universal plan. And this period is to prepare the way for the Ummah. It's our job to prepare the way. Not to guarantee that follow. We don't have, it's not our duty to go back and say, y'all are following, man, our job is As-Sabiqun. We go out front, we prepare the way. We've already shown them. We've anticipated with pinpoint accuracy where the Islamic world will be at this time. All our allies, everything they do is a colossal failure and a benefit to us. The great invasion of Yemen is a great failure. Last month's great attack on that main city in Yemen, a failure. The only thing that hasn't happened we've been hoping for is a strategic counteroffensive to cut them off. Sudanese mercenaries. The same thing they had against Iran, the whole Arab world. Precision bombs, cholera, everything. And they haven't gotten close to breaking the Yemeni spirit. That's not your job and my job. Their job is clear-cut. They have to deal with bombings, cholera, poverty. It's just unbelievable. Our job is to do what we're doing inside of America, is showing the people what can be done, what should be done, and also how to do it. So part of the last period is part of the future period. We said we want to Star Trek them, go beyond where any man has gone. The study of Negroes and hypocrisy and all of that in our time is part of our duty. We accept 100% what Quran is saying. We act off, that's the human nature. But Islam was a great healing for hypocrisy, and the Prophet ﷺ put up with tons of hypocrisy in Al-Medina. And in the long run, the children of hypocrites sometime wanted to finish him off. Or the grandchildren of hypocrites were some of the great Muslim generals. But our duty we have to try to help unravel some of the psychological and historical characteristics of this modern nifaq. How can a person look you in the eye and smile in front of your face literally every day for decades, and they might have a little simple job of, well, if you could just look at the city laws and find out if we can get the homestead, or they might even have a degree in some stuff like that. Or just make sure that we don't get any property disputes with the city, and they'll look up and they'll be handing you a bill for thousands of dollars. Well, how did this happen? I don't know. They said that it wasn't taken care of, and now it's doubled and tripled. And you said, well, did you have any knowledge of all this? And they just hand you the bill. So you have to study that. Why would people do that when they've read history? They know what the system has done to their people, and they know that the American government is very close to a Frankenstein. It's Frankensteinish, put together by dead body parts and stuff like that. And mean beyond. Problems of the world that we have today are all solvable. They're just no reason for the untold savagery, death and destruction and fitna in the world today, because it's all solvable. 100, 200, 300 years ago, you could say, well, we don't have a solution to this. But now, we just don't do it. That's all. We just don't do it. So this resistance to human evolution, I believe, is our job to study the Negro, because the Negro has been more affected in modern times than any other, although his historical behavior is 100% Quranic. Because the Quran always said, well, there was Yusuf, they threw him out the well, they sold him for a miserable price. Everybody in the Quran, when they got sold out, it was A miserable means nothing. Because the Quran said they didn't know his value. Well, a person has the ability to know certain things. When the system puts so much inference and concentration on a certain thing, over decades, you know it's important. What are they doing it? Why would they do that over and over again? Why would they focus on so and so and such and such? Over and over again, all the time, unless it was important to them. Very important to them. Okay, now in this, we're going to deal with a lot of history in this. We're going to go back to the 60s and early 60s when the government searches out your environment, your neighborhood, and the government discovers possible leaders and heroes before the people do. You know who verified that once Muhammad al-Asi, when he was in a big pretender, he said that. He said it because it's what he's doing. He said the government studies you. It identifies your leaders before you do. He thought it was going in one ear and out the other. Buddy, I'm sorry about that. No, indeed. So Quran is true.